10 new cards entered the arena.
Royhogs, Rascals, Electro Dragon, Rogos, Goblin Giant, Giant Snowball, Ram Rider, Magic Archer, Row Recruits, Barbarian Barrel,
Goblin what?
Goblin Bruiser,
Goblin... It almost sounds like Goblin Prisoner, Goblin Barrel, Goblin Bruiser. So it's not Goblin Barrel because they didn't make the barrel. It could be the prisoner. I showed you guys that in the last video, but it didn't sound like it would be a prisoner. Maybe they reworked it and they're calling it the Goblin Bruiser. Let's try that again. Okay, we're gonna slow this down to 0.25.
Goblin Bruiser.
Maybe that was a little too slow. Let's try that at 0.75.
Trader Dragon, Rogos, Goblin Giant, Giant Snowball.
Okay, when he's pronouncing these ones, it sounds a lot better now.
Ram Rider, Magic Archer, Row Recruits, Barbarian Barrel.
Get ready for it.
Goblin Bruiser.
Goblin Bruiser. I think it's Goblin Bruiser. We have an idea of what it looks like, and I think it's gonna look something like this. It's a bruiser. It's a goblin. It's buff. Sounds like you're in for a bruising. You're cruising for a bruising. That's what it is. This guy's really buff. If you look at the Goblin Giant, he's just a friendly little giant that carries 2 spear goblins that he's trying to protect. He doesn't even deal that much damage. He doesn't bruise anyone. You can't bruise buildings. He does have a knife, but that knife, he's not bruising the building with his knife. He's jabbing at the building with a knife. So I think this could be the Goblin Bruiser. I'm thinking this is a tank type unit that attacks kind of like a giant skeleton does. It just punches everything really big and bruises everything in its path. It's definitely a common card because they flashed that on the screen. Let's get a digital recreation of this and let's see what it goes like. Looks like he's really buff. Looks like he skipped leg day. Really intimidating. Doesn't target buildings. That just wouldn't make sense because they already have the Goblin Giant. He's got to attack single target units like this giant skeleton, except it's not going to drop a bomb because it's not a giant skeleton. So, well, and it's not going to it might not have different mechanics because it's a common card. Because it's a common card, it's just going to bruise things up. It's just going to be like a really big, tanky giant skeleton that is not going to cost 6 elixir because a giant skeleton costs 6 elixir. I could see this card costing 4 elixir and just bruising things up real bad with like 2,000 health. Or I could see it costing 8 elixir and kind of functioning like a super beefy golem on steroids that bruises everything in its path. Let's see if there's anything else in this video that we can catch.
Trade tokens! Trade tokens! Then we kind of broke trade tokens, but we're fixing them again next year.
I love how they acknowledge that. That's awesome.
Monthly balance updates gave you new reasons to moan at Seth on Twitter.
What?
Them again next year. Monthly balance updates gave you new reasons to moan at Seth on Twitter.
They're also acknowledging that everyone's complaining to Seth. That's hilarious. I love that.
TV Royale got 2 new hosts, and one of them finally got a haircut.
Okay.
That's what we were up to in 2018. Here's what you were doing.
There were 36 billion battles played this year.
89 billion towers were destroyed.
How do they calculate that? Is that 89 billion crowns total in their database and they're just counting 89 billion crowns? What about 2v2? Because that you get 3 crown, but that's 4 towers-ish.
You launched 7.9 billion rockets. The log was played 39 billion times.
Why did they feature the log specifically? Is this the most used card? No, it can't be. Maybe it is.
Over 7 million billion elixir was pumped. That is a real number. We introduced Barbarian Barrel, and then buffed it, and then buffed it, and then buffed it, and then nerfed it, and then nerfed it.
That's something I noticed in 2018 as well, is that the balance team for Clash Royale did a lot of buffing, buff, and then they kind of overreacted, and then they nerfed and nerfed and nerfed it. I love how they acknowledge that too. They did that for Valkyrie, they did that for Barbarian Barrel, they did that for Royal Recruits. Everything was really drastic when it came to balance changes, especially because it came so frequently, and especially because they were kind of conscious about not touching certain things during CRL in December.
I put on 20 pounds this year. We allowed you to buy emotes, and we also allowed you to permanently mute them.
We wanted to give a huge shout out to all of the Clash Royale content creators.
Oh, thank you, Drew. Thank you.
You're amazing, thank you. That's
am.
been 2018.
And here's to 2019. So thanks for watching this episode of TV Royale.
We'll see you in the new year.
Looks like that's about it. There's about 2 leaks in there, and I didn't catch anything else. Let me know in the comments if I missed anything else, but I think they just leaked the Royal Ghost emote, and they leaked that new Goblin Bruiser? Goblin Bruiser? Goblin Bruiser, that's what we think it is. Thanks for watching.
Clash Royale.